Hello and welcome to General Zod's Fandom Zone. And this is from my car. Yes, it is a car video. And today, I am going to talk to you guys about the brand new Charlie's Angels. And let's just say this review is going to be interesting for me because I didn't completely hate this movie. Not to say it wasn't a feminist propaganda SJW heavy movie, but to say it is not the steaming pile of crap I thought it was going to be. With that being said, here's how this breaks down. I'm going to give you my pros, my cons, and an overview. I'm going to rate the movie two ways. One, does Zod approve or disapprove of you seeing this movie? And two, I am going to give you a numbered system between 1 and 10. 10 being the absolutely most groundbreaking thing that has ever come out, and 1 being something that should be immediately destroyed and stricken from your Earth records. So let's dive right into this. The plot of the movie is this. They need to get a MacGuffin type device from this female. This device is able to short circuit anything, hack anything, and even cause people to die if weaponized by electromagnetic pulse. Charlie's Angels is an organization known as the Townsend's Agency, which recruits different operatives around the world for these missions. Now, let me start with the pros because this kind of goes into what this movie is about. The pros is, unlike before, to explain why there's so many Bosleys, they given Bosley a designation like a rank. Like picture in the military a general, but Charlie is always the person in charge. This is interesting because it explains why you see multiple Bosleys. It's a designation, it's a call sign, so everyone who is head of their division is considered Bosley. I liked this because it was a good way to explain, and there were a multitude of Bosleys. It wasn't just Elizabeth Banks or Patrick Stewart. You get a scene with multiple Bosleys around the world, and yes, there were a lot of guys and a lot of females. Now, the pro and con of this is, as feminist as you think this movie is, and it's marketed, it is, but it isn't. The beginning of the film kind of lays some things on thick, and then the middle of the film scales it back. The end of the film does a really big reveal that, 1, you see coming, and 2, plays into that SJW narrative. So I would say the story is affected by the feminism that they threw in there simply because there's a lot of exposition that you could have easily cut out of this movie, which you still would have had the same film, and it would have been less feministic SJW garbage that Hollywood seems to think we need. With that being said, it still plays at its strengths, and it realizes that it is not a intelligent film. It realizes it is an action movie with females in it, and it doesn't try to elevate itself with that. They play off of that. Another highlight, or 3 of them rather, is Kristen Stewart, Patrick Stewart, and Elizabeth Banks. Yes, believe it or not, these 3 single-handedly hold up this movie for me. Yes, I said it, Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart plays the airheaded angel, I like to call her. She's the one who says very stupid things, but underneath it, she has a street smart about her and a general knowledge that's grossly overlooked because of the dumb things she says. And Kristen Stewart amazingly plays that well. Also, and maybe I'm used to watching Brie Larson, but seems to have a range of acting. she could actually be funny in this movie. And there were parts where she legitimately made me laugh. She comes off as also the glue of this. And the other female, Jane, the African American in this, the black girl, let's be politically correct, but she also is surprisingly good in this role. They do something in the movie which I appreciated, which she comes off as a hard-ass M14 agent who quit the agency, yada, yada, yada. But there's a particular scene in the movie where they actually show her cry. And it was kind of weird because it was trying to have female empowerment, but yet give these characters layers like they weren't just one-dimensional. It was weird. I don't exactly know what the director was trying to go for, if they were trying to hammer home female power or if they were looking for a balance and striking it in weird places. Also, it tricks you until the end of the movie because it does lay down a pretty sufficiently enough interesting story, and the characters are actually engaging. The two angels are really fun. The scientist lady, I did not like her. I thought her character was annoying. The assassin in it was great. There were legitimate points where these girls weren't actually overpowered. I mean, they get their asses handed to them quite a bit. One scene in particular, they all are hit pretty hard and blindsided by something that happens in the movie. This is not to say that they aren't giving the Brie Larson treatment. At the end of the movie, there are some scenes where I called bullshit on one scene in particular with my favorite character, the assassin, and the black chick in it, and how she beats him, I found to be bullshit, but it was bearable enough for me to watch. Now, with that being said, the cons. The SJW woman empowerment in this is placed in exactly the wrong places. And I felt like this movie could have did it, but where they placed it was wrong. There was a scene where the scientist lady is put into a collar by the assassin guy where they're like, oh, this guy is a really bad male. And the guy she worked for pissed me off because they treated him like an idiot, but he's a big corporate businessman. So how did he get his position if he's this bumbling white male who's toxic and just sees her as this female who doesn't know what she's talking about, taking credit for her work? How is this guy the head of a corporation if I assumed he had to go to business school and he had to get a degree and everything else in order to get his position? They made the male characters overtly stupid at points and some of them overtly evil. Patrick Stewart in this was great, and he really hammed up stuff that happens. And it was very interestingly done. Elizabeth Banks was good for the role that she was in. Would I call it stellar acting that I've seen from her? No, but it was serviceable for the type of movie that this is. My other pros with this is it is too long. This movie could have easily been cut down an hour and a half. If you cut out the feminist bullshit in it, you could have easily shortened the length of this film. It's damn near 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is ridiculous for a movie like this. The action is steady moving, so there was a lot of exposition, the little feminist nods that they could have easily cut out and shortened the length of this film. That upset me. Not every movie needs to be a 2-hour blockbuster hit. Okay, Hollywood, stop doing it. It's annoying. Now, overall, what do I think of this film? I think that this film is not on the level of a Ghostbusters 2016, and I honestly don't think it was as bad as Terminator Dark Fate. Honestly. I mean, that the storyline was ruined by the choices that they made within that film. This is hampered down by extra exposition and by some weird decisions to throw in parts that don't need to be in there. Little extra things that if they cut it out and they tighten the length, this could have been an enjoyable film. There's stuff at the end where the original TV Charlie Angels come out and they have a training montage to show you how they became angels. And I appreciated that because it didn't make them overpowered to me. It showed you all of the training that they had to go to become specialized in their fields. I also did like that the women did get their asses beat. It wasn't always one-sided. The ending is very one-sided, but there's some there is some matchups where especially Kristen Stewart gets beat up a lot. She gets beat up a lot in this movie. And I appreciated that. And it's weird for me because part of me wants to say this is just SJW nonsense. It's really not. I think that there's a good movie that was buried within the feminism. And if you took the feminist parts out, this would have been a serviceable movie at most. Do I think that it would have been on a level of John Wick or any male-driven kind of movie? No. But do I think it's as terrible as people make it out to be? No. I think it's watchable, and I think that a lot of reviewers that are coming out are just attacking it just because it does have those feminist undertones in it. I will say there is somewhere buried a good movie, but like Hollywood does, messaging has ruined this film. And once again, I could get through it, unlike Terminator, without getting pissed off in the first 5 minutes. Did I roll my eyes? Yes. Did I think they laid on the SJW hippie nonsense? Yes. But was this a horrendous, absolute bomb of a movie? Did it piss me off like Dark Phoenix, or did it piss me off like Terminator? No, actually. I actually had a decent time with this film. Now, would I approve for you to see this? No. Zod does not approve. I think this is a film that if you're curious, if you have a girlfriend and she drags you to it, you'll be able to watch it. If you see it on HBO and you're curious, it's worth clicking on, because then you can just fast forward the bullshit parts and have a good fun time with it. But I personally don't think they disrespected the Charlie's Angels franchise, but I do think they disrespected males very heavily, and they could have made this without doing that. And that for me is a big negative. Stop insulting genders just to push your narratives. You can make better stories without doing that, Elizabeth Banks. Don't go that route. I still like you in Brightburn. Shape up. Now, as far as grading goes, unfortunately, I have to grade this movie fairly based on what I feel. And my overall grade for this film would be a 5. And I'm giving it a 5 because it respects the Charlie's legacy and because I'm able to watch it. But I can't rate it higher than that because, unfortunately, the story gets bogged down by politics. The dialogue was not that bad, but it was still on the B-rated action level. There were a lot of throwaway lines that they could have went, and exposition. They put exposition in the wrong place. They explain things at the end of the movie they should have put at the beginning of the movie, and that pisses me off because then we have just you trying to fill time. So, my overall take is this. If you're stuck seeing this with your girlfriend, fear not. You will at least be able to enjoy some parts. If you're thinking of going to see this on your own, don't. Go to see Dr. Sleep. Much better choice. But overall, skip this one. Wait for it to come out on DVD, rent it, watch it on a HBO, watch it streaming, but don't waste your money to see this, and don't give these Hollywood assholes who push these feminist agendas and earth politics Don't give them your money. Because, my friends, I saw it for free and it is not worth it. Let Zod take the hits for you. Until next time, thank you very much. If you like my channel, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to General Zod for more great reviews. And, of course, as always, remember the rule. Here in the Phantom Zone, kneel before Zod.